It is my great pleasure to be co-organizer of this event and to be your MC this morning. On behalf of the National Art Council Singapore and FOFA, we are delighted to invite you here today as thought leaders of Singapore's public agencies and businesses to discuss and explore new horizons for the visual arts in Singapore. We came up with the title, Becoming a Global Art Capital, Reimagining the Future. It's the title for this year's inaugural Thought Leadership Forum, and it will comprise of 2 panel discussions this morning. We aim to uncover opportunities and address the challenges of developing a sustainable strategy for amplifying a city's rich cultural and artistic content. At this point, just a small housekeeping note. I would like to seek your cooperation to turn your phones to silent mode. And we'll be kicking off with an opening address in a few minutes. But before we do that, I just wanted to share with you that we are going to have an interactive format for this forum. So during the panel discussions at any time, you can scan the QR code. There's a little postcard on your table, and we'll take questions from the floor through the Pigeonhole app. Just open your browser, and the event passcode is NAC Forum 2023. So if you have any questions for the panelists, please feel free to submit them through Pigeonhole. And at this point, it is my honor to welcome Ms. Yen Ling, Minister of State for Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, and Ministry of Trade and Industry, to deliver the opening remarks this morning.
Thank you so much, Ning. Thank you. And congratulations. Now, a very good morning, Your Excellency Mario Andre Vatani. Very good to see you again, our Ambassador of the Italian Republic. Very good morning to my mentor and a good friend, Professor Tommy Koh, Ambassador at Large. Can we put our hands together to also welcome him? Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning, and really I want to echo what Ning mentioned. I want to extend a very warm welcome to all of you to the inaugural Art Thought Leadership Forum, especially to all our international artists and guests. Looking at this room is really amazing. I think 1 year ago, if you tell me we could host more than 120 opinion leaders, thought leaders, for arts and culture and heritage, here, Raffles Hotel, in the heart of Singapore, I think a lot of us will, think question mark. But together we did it. We really want to welcome you. We know half of you flew in from overseas. How about the other half of us, Singaporeans? Can we extend a warm Singaporean welcome to them? And of course, Happy New Year. Now, like what Ning has mentioned, today's forum will really be an exciting one. I will be staying and gleaning insights, especially for the first panel session, and hopefully for the second as well. Now, today's forum will really be insightful and exciting as we come together to discuss the future of visual arts and the role that we all can play in its growth. Like we mentioned earlier, we have amongst us, if you look around the room, 120 of us, key opinion leaders, thought leaders from across different sectors from different countries. So we are really greatly heartened to see senior representatives from private organizations, auction houses, cultural institutions, art fairs, and regional Biennale, local and international collectors. I just spoke to Tom. Tom, can you give a wave where you are? He flew in from Jakarta, and he says he's really excited because this few weeks it feels like a Disneyland for arts and culture. So he flew in from Jakarta, so it's really a wonderful playground. And curators as well as arts businesses and publication. We are also very honored to have the presence of senior policy makers and representatives from various embassies, certainly Ambassador Vatani, and of course academic institutions. All this will really enrich and enhance today's forum. Distinguished speakers for our panel session, later you will hear, they are from local and international arena. They will share their perspectives on the key global trends shaping the visual arts sector in the next decade. They will also discuss the important role of public-private partnerships in fostering a vibrant and thriving arts ecosystem. talking about private sector, public sector, partnership. Actually, I think those of you who are based in Singapore, even those of you who are from overseas, you will know that in Singapore, we do it really via a PPP, collaboration via a private sector, people sector, and public sector. Now, at this juncture, allow me to introduce to you some of my colleagues who are here. They make time to be here, even though they are not exactly the arts agency. I represent the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, like what Ning has mentioned, but I also wear the other hat, the Ministry of Trade and Industry. So my job really is to work with the colleagues, not just from National Arts Council, National Heritage Board, but also from the Economic Agency to really synergize the various strands and the tenets. So at my table, of course, we have Ambassador Vatani. Give a wave to everyone. Yeah, welcome him. And again, Professor Tommy Cole. Yeah. Warm welcome. And we have the chairman of Singapore Tourism Board, Mr. Charlie Ma. And we have Singapore Land Authority, Mr. Colin Low. We also have the CEO of Singapore Tourism Board, Mr. Keith Tan. We also have with us the CEO of URA, Urban Redevelopment Agency, Mr. Lim Ing Hui. Obviously, I have my colleague from the MCCY, from NAC and NHB. I have with me Ms. Chang Hui Ni, CEO of National Heritage Museum. And of course, we have Ms. Rosa Daniel, CEO of NAC, National Arts Council. I introduced them to show you that, it's not just us promoting arts and culture, heritage in silo, but we really aggregate the strength, the resources, the network across the whole of government, including Ministry of Trade and Industry, Singapore Tourism Board, including the Land Authority, whether it's it Urban Redevelopment Authority or Singapore Land Authority. So I welcome you to interact, exchange ideas, and forge partnership today. And like what Ning has mentioned, this forum presents a very rich and valuable opportunity for all of us to glean deeper insights and exchange new ideas. Now, I want to thank Rosa and her wonderful team at National Arts Council, and also Ning and her team at the Family Office for Art for making this invaluable forum possible. This is a very exciting week in Singapore. A few things are happening. Our Singapore arts sector has really shown amazing resilience and strength, especially in the last 3 years of COVID-19 pandemic. I think we all learned, and many of you are leaders, you're in the arts, culture, and heritage sector. If anything, in the last 3 years, we learned to marry, not just performing live, but also the merit of hybrid performances, allowing the performances to actually travel beyond, the physical location of the performance, but to overseas, and that actually allow more people to benefit from the arts and culture performance, whether it's musical, and also, art shows, etc. And we were very determined to reopen our economy, and that's why we progressively lifted all the MTF, all the measures since March last year. We are seeing a very strong recovery in our art scene with the opening of our borders and the transition to a new normal. Last year, in year 2022, even as we were transiting, we already had a very exciting lineup of programs. And we thank you for your participation, which included the Singapore International Festival of Arts, Singapore Night Festival, and the ongoing Singapore Biennale. Now, like I said, this is a very exciting month. In fact, this will be a very exciting year because the arts calendar this year kicked off with the 11th edition of SAW, Singapore Art Week, from the 6th to 15th January 2023. Now, from 6th to 15th January, I think a lot of us, to me, it's like an international buffet spread of arts and culture and heritage. We are all pivoting from different locations to to enjoy the gallery works, performances, and also to interact with each other. It features 2 dynamic art fairs, C Focus and the inaugural Art SG, both of which offer access to regional and international artists and artwork from numerous participating galleries from across the globe. Like many of the world leading hubs, Singapore's art scene has benefited from our city-state's well-developed business infrastructure, global connectedness, and family-friendly environment. The arts infrastructure that we developed over the years and together in partnership with you has led to the growth of our audiences and a vibrant community of artists, both local and also international collectors. We were also able to establish respected public and commercial institutions such as the National Gallery Singapore and the Singapore Art Museum, as well as STPI Creative Workshop and Gallery. And of course, local and international galleries at Gillman Barracks and more recently at Tanjong Pagar District Park. Really exciting place, you've got to go there. Now, galleries at Gillman Barracks such as Force Gallery, Mizuma Gallery, Muchacha Gallery, Ota Fine Arts, Shang Art, Sundaram Tagore, and Your Workshop have been in Singapore for at least 10 years. 10 years. And their decade-long presence in Singapore reflects their confidence in Singapore and the immense potential of our visual arts scene. Now, if I can help, on behalf of the various agencies to share with you, and these are proof points that the sector told us. The confidence is echoed by the recent addition to our arts landscape. And I'll just highlight 4 proof points to you. Firstly, the opening of local and international galleries such as 39 Plus Art Space. I see a lot of you nodding away, you must have been there. Whitestone Gallery and Wow Gallery. Second proof point, appointment of Singapore-based director by Layman Maupin. Another proof point, the third one, the Art SG's backing by MCH Group, which is, we all know, is Art Basil's parent company. That's a powerful proof point. And the fourth one is the second-year partnership between Art Basel and C Focus. And we hope that they will continue this partnership for many, many more years. So just to share with you how, the art scene is really thriving, flourishing despite COVID, and we welcome you. We welcome you to come on board to continue to co-create and co-curate this art scene. Now, in addition, the recent establishment of the new University of the Arts that's formed through the alliance between LaSalle College of the Arts and the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, it's really a clear signal that Singapore is serious about the arts. And in our next iteration of our SG Arts Plan, the National Arts Council NAC will continue to develop our thriving arts sector hand in hand with all of you, with the community, with the stakeholders across public sector, private sector, and the people sector, like what we mentioned earlier. So later on, in between the panel session and tea break, even as you exchange whether digital cards or physical cards and exchange ideas, do mingle and do catch hold of the head honchos of the various agencies. They are here to hear from you suggestions or insights, so that we can take it back to refine our policy accordingly. Now, the master plan that I talked about will chart the direction for the Singapore arts sector for the next 5 years, from this year onwards, 2023, to year 2027. And one of the key tenets of the plan is to forge a connected society. We aspire for everyone in Singapore to enjoy, to benefit from, and to contribute to the arts. Now, through the arts, we will further develop our creative economy. What I mentioned earlier, synergizing arts and culture with even the trade and industry and economic agency. I want to assure you, to that end, the government, not just the Ministry of Culture Committee and you, but the whole of government, we will work closely with our partners to develop a globally relevant and resilient arts, culture, and heritage ecosystem that will form the foundation of a future-ready creative economy. And we think when we have that future-ready creative economy, that will be one that will provide arts and culture and heritage for us, that inspire all of us, and also nourish our soul, as COVID has demonstrated. At the same time, provide good jobs and prospects for people in Singapore. And under the master plan, the arts sector will also play an important role in developing Singapore into a distinctive city, where artists have diverse and affordable spaces to create and to showcase their works. This is also why Mr. Lim Eng Hui, who is the CEO of URA, and Mr. Colin Low, the CEO of SLA, are here today. In the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth in NAC, NHB, we work closely, hand in hand with them in close partnership to identify blind spots, areas where we can address to future-proof our policy to support our arts, culture, and heritage stakeholders. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I hand back the time to Ning, again, I want to reassure you that the Singapore government remains committed to developing and supporting the arts, culture, and heritage sector. As we continue to build on the foundation that we have developed over the past decade, we would like to use today's platform to invite all of you to work closely with the National Arts Council and other partners in Singapore to realize our vision of an exciting and thriving future for the arts, very much aligned with today's theme. And we hope that over the course of not just this forum, over the course of your stay in Singapore, you will have the opportunity to explore the interesting range of events and shows at SAW, Singapore Art Week. And please do continue the adventure throughout the year. We have an exciting arts and culture calendar this year in year 2023. On this note, I wish you a very insightful, fruitful, and reaching forum ahead. Thank you, thank you, thank you.